Every year, American drivers lose over $23 billion to rust damage, and that number keeps climbing as more states switch to corrosive de-icing brine. But it doesn't have to happen to you. In this video, I'll share 13 essential rust prevention secrets that can save you thousands in repairs and keep your car's body strong for decades. We'll clear up some common myths, reveal what manufacturers won't tell you, and uncover a few science-backed tricks that actually work in real-world driving. By the end, you'll know exactly how to protect your car from rust before it even starts. Let's get right into it. (13) Aftermarket rust-proofing for new cars. Many people think new cars are already protected from rust, but that's only partly true. Yes, most manufacturers apply basic corrosion coatings, but they're far from bulletproof. Even trusted brands like Honda, Toyota, and Subaru have recalled thousands of cars because of premature frame corrosion. And while they like to blame salt belt states, any steel that meets water and oxygen will rust, it's just a matter of time. That's why smart drivers invest in aftermarket rust proofing. There are two main options: oil-based sprays, which you reapply once or twice a year, and permanent undercoatings, meant only for brand new vehicles. But be careful. If even a tiny patch of rust gets trapped underneath a permanent coating, it'll keep eating away unseen until the frame is gone. And never buy it from a dealership. They'll charge you $400 to $800 and might not even do the job. Go to a trusted local mechanic instead. You'll pay less and actually get the protection you expect. 12. Stop ignoring your undercarriage. Your car's undercarriage is the first place rust attacks, and the one most people never look at. Studies show cars that aren't washed regularly can corrode up to 3 times faster than those cleaned once a week in winter. Road salt, moisture, and grime stick to the frame and suspension parts, eating away at the metal even while the body looks spotless. So here's the deal. If you live in a snowy state or near the coast, wash the undercarriage at least once a week. That salty slush mixture clings to metal and keeps it wet for days, even after a drive. Car washers help, but most use low-pressure sprayers that barely touch packed salt. The best fix? Get a pressure washer attachment made for undercarriages. They cost under $30 and shoot 4,000 psi, enough to clean everything underneath in minutes. Do this after every snowstorm or coastal trip, and your car's frame could easily last twice as long. But even a clean undercarriage can rust fast if you forget the next step. 11. Unclog the hidden water drains. One of the sneakiest causes of rust hides inside your car, the water drains you don't even know exist. Every modern car has small drainage holes around the sunroof, windshield trunk, gas cap, and doors. Their job is to let rainwater escape so it doesn't sit inside the metal cavities. But over time, these holes fill up with leaves, dust, and road debris, clogging the passage and trapping water where it should never be. And when steel stays wet for days, corrosion starts faster than you'd believe. Clogged drains are responsible for hundreds of hidden rust spots that drivers don't see until the damage is serious. Cars with blocked sunroof drains can rust 4 times faster than clean ones. That's why twice a year you should clear them out. Use a piece of weed trimmer line or any thin, flexible wire. Push it gently through each drain hole until it passes through. Pour a little water to make sure it flows out the bottom. Don't forget the door bottoms and trunk area. Moisture often hides there. If water doesn't drain, open the holes slightly wider with a small screwdriver or drill bit. Check under the spare tire too. That well is a rust hotspot. A few minutes spent clearing these drains can save you thousands in repairs. 10. The power of lanolin. If your car isn't brand new, permanent undercoatings won't save you. They can actually trap rust underneath. What you need instead is a lanolin-based spray like Fluid Film or Surface Shield. Lanolin is a natural oil made from wool grease, and it's one of the best rust fighters out there. It works by creating a moisture barrier that blocks water, salt, and oxygen. the 3 things rust needs to form. Here's how to use it. Wash your car thoroughly, let it dry, then spray the entire undercarriage, every bolt, seam, and joint. Avoid the brakes and rubber parts. The lanolin oil seeps into cracks and coats the metal evenly. Once it dries, it leaves behind a soft, sticky film that keeps out moisture for months. In salty regions, reapply every year. In drier areas, every 2 or 3 years is fine. Lanolin sprays are perfect DIY jobs. You can grab a kit with a wand for less than $50 and do the whole car in under an hour. Or, if you're unsure, have a pro do the first round and watch how it's done. After that, maintaining it yourself is simple. It's cheap insurance against rust that eats frames from the inside out. Now let's bust a myth that's been killing cars for years. 9. Stop heating up your garage. A lot of people think freezing temperatures cause rust, but that's a myth. Cold doesn't create corrosion. Heat and moisture do. When you park a salt-covered car in a warm garage, you're basically building the perfect lab for rust to form. Studies show corrosion rates double for every 18 degrees Fahrenheit increase in temperature. So when snow melts off your car, that salty water seeps into every seam and crevice, then cooks overnight in your heated garage. By morning, it's already started working on your frame. The truth is, a cold, dry car will rust far slower than a warm, damp one. If you must keep your garage warm, at least wash the undercarriage first to remove road salt. Then use a dehumidifier and a small industrial fan to keep air circulating. That stops moisture from sitting on metal surfaces too long. Ironically, you're better off parking outside on clear winter days than in a heated garage filled with melted slush. A cool, ventilated space keeps the metal stable and dry. Up next, we'll explore a piece of weird science that actually works in the ocean, but not in your driveway. 8. Cathodic protection systems. You've probably seen ads for little electronic boxes that promise to stop your car from rusting by sending an electric current through the body. Sounds high-tech, right? But here's the truth. Those systems are based on real science, just not for cars. It's called cathodic protection, and it's used on ships, oil rigs, and underground pipelines that stay in contact with water or soil all the time. These environments allow electricity to flow consistently. Cars simply don't work that way. Here's what happens. Rust forms when steel loses electrons to water and oxygen. Cathodic protection works by feeding electrons back into the metal, turning it into the protected side of the circuit. In ships or pipelines, a sacrificial anode, usually zinc, corrodes instead of the steel. That's why those massive steel hulls survive years in seawater without falling apart. In cars, though, those electronic gadgets don't have a continuous path to conduct electricity, so they're basically snake oil. If you want that level of protection, look for galvanized steel or zinc-coated panels. Most modern vehicles already use it. And if you're restoring a classic, galvanizing the chassis is the only real way to mimic that protection. Next, we'll tackle a hidden rust trap sitting right under your feet. 7. Don't let rubber floor mats betray you. Rubber floor mats are supposed to protect your car, but in reality, they can secretly destroy it. Many drivers use thick, all-weather mats to keep dirt and snow off their carpets. Sounds smart, right? The problem starts when winter hits. You step into your car with snow and road salt on your shoes, it melts, and the water seeps under the mat. Since rubber mats block airflow, the moisture has nowhere to go. It just sits there, trapped between the carpet and the floor pan, quietly eating away at the metal underneath. Over time, this hidden moisture can rot the entire floor, even when the rest of the car looks spotless. I've seen vehicles with perfect paint but massive holes under the driver's seat, all caused by trapped condensation. Here's the fix. After every wet or snowy drive, pull out your rubber mats and let the carpet breathe. Use a small fan if needed to dry it fast. If you skip this step, that damp carpet will cost you thousands in floor pan repairs. Simple rule, dry carpets mean a rust-free floor. Next, We'll talk about how to spot and stop rust early before it destroys your car's frame. 6. Learn how to spot and stop it early. Rust doesn't happen overnight. It starts small, hides in plain sight, and spreads fast once ignored. According to ADA, nearly 70% of American drivers are at risk for serious rust repair costs. That's why being a rust detective is one of the smartest habits you can build. You need to know the 3 stages: surface rust, scale, and penetration. Surface rust is light, just a thin brown film on the metal. You can fix it easily. Clean, sand, and apply rust inhibitor primer. The second stage, scale rust, is where the paint starts bubbling or flaking. At this point, the corrosion is spreading underneath and DIY repairs get tricky. The final stage is penetrating rust. When holes appear, the metal is literally gone and repairs can cost thousands. Inspect your car every time you wash it. Pay close attention to wheel wells, underdoors, rocker panels, and any chipped paint. Even a small scratch can let moisture slip through and start the chain reaction. If you catch it early, a few minutes with sandpaper and touch-up paint can save your car's life. Next, we'll cover something you probably never think about: where you park. 5. Pick your parking spot. Carefully where you park your car matters more than most drivers realize. Parking under the blazing sun every day can destroy your paint's clear coat, and once that layer weakens, moisture sneaks in and rust begins. UV rays slowly break down the finish, leading to fading, cracking, and small paint chips, perfect entry points for corrosion. Repainting a car can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, and if you ignore it, rust repair could cost even more. Avoid parking directly under trees too. Dripping sap and bird droppings are acidic and eat through paint. But the worst place of all, grass or dirt. Those unpaved spots trap humidity, keeping your undercarriage wet for hours after the morning dew evaporates. That constant dampness can quietly eat away at your frame and suspension. The best place to park? A carport or shaded open area. It blocks sun, snow, and rain, but still lets the air circulate underneath. If you must park outside, move the car occasionally and rinse off dirt buildup. Up next, a little-known trick to neutralize the biggest rust accelerator on the road. 4. Use salt neutralizers for brine road salt isn't what it used to be. These days, many states use de-icing brine, a sticky mix of salt, chemicals, and even beet juice, to melt snow faster. It's great for traction but terrible for your car. Unlike solid salt, brine splashes up as you drive and clings to the undercarriage, hiding deep inside seams, bolts, and frame rails. That residue doesn't just rinse away, it keeps eating at the metal long after winter ends. It's one reason American drivers lose billions every year to rust damage. The best defense? A salt-neutralizing wash. These cleaners use surfactants and neutralizers that break down salt crystals and stop corrosion at the source. Spray it on the undercarriage with a pressure washer after driving through slush or treated roads. Focus on wheel wells, brake lines, and suspension joints where brine collects. Do this regularly during winter and you'll strip away corrosive buildup before it gets a chance to bite into your frame. Combine this with lanolin spray and you'll have triple protection against rust. Next, let's move to an overlooked rust hotspot under your hood. 3. Inspect the car battery tray. Here's a rust spot almost nobody checks: the battery tray. Every car battery contains a small amount of sulfuric acid, and as batteries age, they can leak or vent fumes that slowly eat away at nearby metal. That acid mixes with road dust and moisture, forming a corrosive film that destroys paint and metal around the battery mount. Over time, this can weaken the tray so much that it bends or even breaks, letting the battery shift while driving, a serious safety risk. To avoid this, inspect the battery area every time you change your oil or air filter. Look for white or blue powdery residue on the terminals. That's corrosion. Mix baking soda with water and use a brush to clean it off. Then lift the battery carefully and check underneath for any bubbling paint or rust spots. If you find any, sand them down and apply a rust converter or protective coating. Finally, apply a thin layer of dielectric grease to the terminals. It keeps out moisture and prevents future corrosion. It's a 5-minute job that can prevent hundreds of dollars in electrical and rust repairs later on. Up next, a classic and cheap protection method that still beats many modern coatings. 2. Go old school with wax. Sometimes the simplest solutions are still the best. Decades before ceramic coatings and graphene sprays, car owners relied on one thing to fight rust: good old-fashioned wax. And guess what? It still works incredibly well. A quality carnauba wax forms a hydrophobic shield that makes water bead up and roll right off your paint. No water sitting on the surface means no chance for moisture to sneak through and start corrosion underneath. Wax also protects your car from UV rays, acid rain, and road grime that can wear down clear coat over time. While fancy ceramic coatings can last years, they cost hundreds. A tin of wax, on the other hand, runs under $30 and takes less than an hour to apply. Just make sure you do it every 3 to 6 months for consistent protection. Apply wax after washing and drying your car, using circular motions and thin layers. Once it hazes, buff it off. The paint will shine and your metal stays sealed from the elements. Bonus: your car looks like it just rolled out of a showroom. But even the best wax won't help if you ignore the final step that keeps rust from creeping in unseen. 1. Schedule an annual rust checkup. Even if you followed every rust prevention step, you still need one final habit: a yearly inspection. Think of it like a health check for your car's frame. Once a year, get your vehicle on a lift and take a close look underneath. Focus on the frame rails, suspension mounts, floor pans, and wheel wells, anywhere that traps moisture or dirt. Bring a flashlight and a small screwdriver. Tap around for soft spots or flaking paint, both early signs of corrosion. If you live in a salty state, it's worth paying a mechanic for a professional rust check. They can spot things you can't, hidden areas behind panels or inside seams. And if they find rust starting, catching it early is everything. A quick sand, rust converter, and paint touch-up now can save you from thousands in repairs later. Rust prevention doesn't have to be expensive. It just takes consistency. A few hours a year can add years to your car's life and protect your wallet in the long run.